Peace and blessings. Welcome back to the Lunar Nora show, live in action from my kitchen, because I wanted to switch it up a little bit. I know like a lot of you all are watching this video because you saw my last video, and maybe you were kind of like, what's wrong with her? Is she anti-women, anti-feminism because she said that the woman was made for the man, blah, blah, blah. You know, whatever you may be thinking. Honestly, it has nothing to do with me. I'm just sharing the information that I am processing. Literally all I'm doing right now is sharing like this information, this body of knowledge that I already knew about, but like I'm comprehending now. And because I'm comprehending it, I'm starting to just think, and it's just everything is making sense. And I'm really just on the journey to healing and becoming who I know I'm supposed to be, which is a woman's woman, and God's gift to humanity. Because that's my nature. That's what a woman is. So before we even get into my topic today, I wanted to play this video, and I also wanted to read this quote by the Most High Elijah Muhammad. But first, let's listen to this clip by my dear beloved sister, Sister Ava Muhammad. May Allah be pleased, who is the top student of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I study her a lot, and I learn a lot from that woman. And I've learned a lot about myself, about femininity, about my nature as a woman through her numerous lectures and books, and just her. I just love her. Yeah. So listen to the clip.
Existence. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, Allah formed himself not from a mother, but out of the dark womb of space. Space and the darkness of it became his womb, and he came out of that darkness. Then the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, before there was sun, there was a woman. Allah came out of the womb of darkness with a womb within himself. Every man has a woman in him. If you notice, the male has X and Y chromosome, which has male and female part. The female has X chromosome. As Allah came out of that womb, the Holy Quran calls it triple darkness. He had a womb within himself. He studied himself, and from himself he fashioned woman. She is his first act of creation. The woman is made after the womb, out of which God created himself, and in the woman is the secret of God.
So now that we listen to the clip, I would like to read this quote from the Honorable Most High Elijah Muhammad. The Most High Elijah Muhammad says, quote, he wanted a different human being than himself. So he studied himself. He made a woman by studying himself. He made a woman secondly, so this would solve his problem of a search for another man. End quote. And I got that quote from the book Naturally Beautiful by Sister Ava Muhammad. Now, I mean, I really don't have to explain it anymore because Sister Ava just shared it. In the beginning, God created himself. This is in the Bible and the Holy Quran. I'm not really a heavy on the scriptures person just yet. I'm still learning myself. But it's in the Bible and the Holy Quran because I read it once before. And God created himself. God went within himself and noticed the second self. And in order to avoid being alone, he spent a lot of time by himself. It took him trillions of years to create himself. Think about it. You in darkness, all by yourself, alone. You don't have nobody to talk to. You don't have nobody to record what's going on. So really, we don't know how long it took him to create himself because there was nobody to record it. But he looked within himself after he created himself. And he discovered another version of himself, another part of himself. And he extracted that self and created woman. That's what we believe in the Nation of Islam. And that's actually what I know now. I can say I know that. because I've done my own research. I've studied myself. I've studied my nature. I've studied women in general. And I'll just pay attention. It's just, once you start paying attention to stuff and you just start studying, you seek knowledge for yourself. Stuff just starts making sense. So now that we know that woman came from God, because we all are from God. Women specifically come from God. But there's one important note that we have to mention. The fact that God is a man. Because we can't make him anything other than a man unless we make him an inferior God. Now, that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother time. But I felt the need to say that because by me saying that that woman was made for man, we were made for God. Because God is a man. And every man is a reflection of that original God. We both, woman and man, two sides of one whole, descendants of the originator, God. And that is okay. That's nature. We can't do anything about it. The men, they're supposed to know their role. We as women, I am learning my role. I don't have anything to do with him because I'm not a man and I can't really do anything to help them become a man, but work on being my best self, connect with the God, my creator, and reflect the woman that he wants me to be. So we have the knowledge of the creation of woman, why the woman was made. And it was ultimately, I believe I brought this up in the last video or for this video, but ultimately God made woman to be a comforter, a consoler, someone who can record what has been happening throughout that space and time. She was the first creation. So before sun, before planets, before anything else, it was her. And I remember reading a quote. All my quotes and stuff is on my phone, y'all, but I'm recording on my phone, so I can't pull them up, and I'm so upset. But if we think about it, the woman reflects the recessive mind of human beings. Recessive mind, the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is responsible for memories, recording. For example, let's say you're in a car accident and there's a lot going on. Your brain is literally recording everything you're hearing, everything you're doing. You may not consciously remember it after, you're in a coma or whatnot from the accident, but subconsciously you record everything. The women are reflections of that. And think about it. Women literally, even if we don't even want to think about ourselves, because a lot of times we don't want to put ourselves in that plate or something. I don't know. But think about our mothers. Our mothers, if we had good mothers, she did everything. Where would the household, where would the family be without mothers? There would be chaos, mere chaos in the house all the time. There would be no food. Besides, the basic necessities of life. There would be no love. There would be no structure. There would be no guidance. There would be no getting things done. Taking the children to go get to the dentist, doctor's appointments. Literally, women do everything. And it's just like in our nature to do so. To be able to juggle so many things. And even with a man, a lot of times, I'm not married. I don't have a husband. I don't have a boyfriend. None of that. But just from studying the women that are married and who have children, your husband is like literally another, like, not necessarily a child, but someone else you have to take care of, because that's in our nature is to do so. So woman being reflective of that subconscious mind, there's so much I can go in with that because it's very deep. And I really wish I had my notes on my phone. I got to do better at job at that. But in us reflecting the subconscious mind of God, of man, it is our nature to protect, it is our nature to console and cultivate and co-create. So, in order for a woman to really genuinely be in love with a man, because we come from God and we came from God for God, that woman has to have a strong relationship with her Creator, because it is in her nature to do so. We came from Him. Therefore, there is no way that we can actually have peace. We can have happiness. There's no way that we can fulfill our role as women if we don't have a connection with the Creator, the one who made us women. And another reason why it's very important for us to have a relationship with God is because, as I mentioned earlier, God is a man. And the only way a woman of God, a woman who knows herself, a woman who is striving to practice her nature, to be in her nature, a woman who's striving to be in her feminine, the only way that she can find a mate is if she find a mate that she is happy with and satisfied with, and that genuinely wants her. There's a difference between choosing somebody because you are lonely or because you just ran out of options, and there's a difference in someone who God sends for you, who is like perfect for you because he is in his masculine. He is doing the things that his nature calls on him for him to do. Only way a woman can attract that type of man is if she, one, has the God in her life who is guiding her and who is instructing her and who is her example. Because the only way we can really, truly, as women of God, when you become a woman of God, it takes time to become that. Actually, no, it does not take time. You just have to make up your mind that you are a woman of God and start acting, doing the things that he wants you to do, pleasing him and not everybody else. But the only way a woman can attract the man of God is if he, of course, is a reflection of God. And what I mean by that is he has force and power. He says be and it is. He does the things that he says he's going to do. He is a provider. He's a maintainer. He's a sustainer. These are all things that are, again, written in the Bible. How God describes man. Even if we think of and look at Jesus, a man who reflects the prophets, men of God. And even if if we're not really scriptures person, we're not into any of that, or we just don't understand it, because I'm in a state in which I'm slowly but surely understanding, but I really don't understand Bible. And I'm beginning to understand the Holy Quran only because I've read it so many times, but I just don't understand stuff. But when it comes to real life scenarios, I understand that. Let's think of somebody like Usher, because I can't think of anybody else. Why do women love Usher so much? It's because we see God in him. And a lot of times we don't even realize this. We don't even recognize it. It's just when we see somebody who can sing, dance, and they're literally like a master at what it is that they're doing in their field, in their sphere, they're reflecting God in what it is that they're doing. And because they're reflecting God, and we are women of God, we are meant to seek God, the God in him, even if it's just, physical stuff. Well, I don't know what he's like spiritually. I don't know what Usher's on. But physically, on the outside looking in, he reflects a God in what it is that he's doing, because he can sing, he could dance. Think Michael Jackson. Why do people around this world love Michael Jackson, no matter their age? He's an icon, even though he passed away 10 plus years ago, because he was a God in his sphere. Women fainted. Women would have to pass out. I remember hearing that people had to go to the hospital from passing out at his concerts, because he was a God at his sphere, and it's attractive. It's enlightening. It's empowering. It's encouraging, especially to a woman. I don't know about y'all, if you're a woman, you're watching this, but it's just something about a man who is doing what he says he's going to do, who's working, who's strong-willed, who, of course, prays and just is consistent with prayer, respects women, respects their mothers, their sisters, their siblings, whatever. It's just something about a man like that just attracts us. And I can't be the only one. I know I'm not the only one. The more I am in my nature, the more I'm falling in love with myself, the more I'm working on myself, the more I find myself attracted to men like that. because it's my nature to attract myself to ultimately the God. But once you see the God in another man, you see a God in another human being, it also attracts you. Because we are the woman of God. That's what we were made to do and be. So when I say that God created the woman for man, I just said that's literally just it. As the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said in the clip that I shared during the last video, that's it. We are two halves of one whole. There is no competition between a man and a woman. There is no battle of who's superior over one another. There's no point of even discussing that, because we already know our roles. But the only way you will know that is if you study yourself and you not just listen to what other people say. You actually have to practically apply what it is that you're learning. You have to study, do your research, and it'll all just make sense eventually. So yeah, ultimately, we as women need to no longer decentralize men and start decentralize God, because the only way we can get the things that we genuinely desire in our lives, and the only way that we can become who God wants us to be, is if we make him the center and not any man. Clearly, making men or idolizing men and worshiping men has gotten us nowhere, as we can see the condition of the women in the world right now, or condition of ourselves. There is no man who can do the things that the God can do for us. And a God and the man that is filled with the presence of God. For example, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. There is no man on this planet like that man. And there is no man on this planet who is doing for women as that man is doing for women. And I will 1000% always, until I die, stand by that man, because he's changed my life as a woman. He's changed. Y'all see Sister Ava Muhammad? There would be no Sister Ava Muhammad were it not for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And if you would like to learn more about the Nation of Islam and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, leave a comment below. I'll reach out to you directly. I'll figure it out. Or I'll even drop the NOI.org website. Or you just DM me on Instagram if you want to learn more information. Because I am literally in a class that is reacquainting me with my nature. And the longer I've been in that class, the more I study. Again, the more I study that myself and I'm in that class, the more I am just, my nature is coming out. But I also know that I still have healing to do. And I know that we all have healing to do, which is why I started this series. Really what this series is growing into, which is the healing of the divine feminine, or the lost feminine, because a lot of us, most women, are not what we are supposed to be and what we should be. And it's hard to get to that place until and unless we heal. And that's kind of where I am now. God made us to be consolers. He made us to be nurturers. However, once you've been traumatized, once you've been damaged, and once you just have not learned what that looks like over the course of generations, honestly, because of slavery, we had to become versions of ourselves in order to survive, in order for our children to survive. So in order to heal, we have to heal ourselves. There's a certain process in which we have to go through. And it's something that I've been going through, so I really feel like I'm finally at a place where I can start sharing that. But there's work that needs to be done to heal, so that we don't pass things on to our children, so that we can be the consolers and the co-creators with God, co-producers. But that takes time, and that's why we're all in this journey. I don't want this to be any longer than it is, so thank you guys for watching. I hope you all were able to get something from this. I will leave the links below again for everything that I shared today. I will try to find the full lecture of the clip that I shared of Sister Ava Muhammad. And then I'll link that below, but I might not be able to find it. But anyways, thank you guys for watching again. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I'm looking forward to the next episode. So yeah, thank you guys for watching.